Good morning, literacy learners, and welcome to another wonderful episode of At Home with APS, the Summer Edition. My name is Miss Maggie.
And I'm Miss Mary.
We're going to be starting this new week with a whole new unit surrounding animals. We've taken animals and we started with our home animals that are our pets. We've expanded that to other animals that are in our communities that are on farms, and now we're going to take that sphere even bigger to include animals that are around our state.
And so we're going to be learning about all different kinds of animals that live around our state, which brings us to this week's focus question, which is,
what animals live in New Mexico?
So to begin, we'll start with habitats and what habitats are. But I just realized before we go any farther, I have a message for some very special students from their school librarian. So listen up. If you are a student at Kit Carson Elementary School here in Albuquerque, turn on your listening ears because your librarian has a message for you. Miss Athena says, "Hello, Kit Carson Eagles. Remember to keep reading and asking great questions." You know, librarians from around the state have been telling me how much they miss their students. So, boys and girls, even if we don't get time to give you a special message from your librarian or from your teachers, please know that they are thinking about you. They all have that same message that we've been hearing over and over again and again this summer. They want you to read, 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 and then read some more. So we'll continue with those messages as we go on with these summer episodes. Now, back to a question. We have a very special question today that's going to really help us to understand this unit about animals of New Mexico. And that is, what is a habitat?
Oh, well, what is a habitat?
Well, let's explore this question just a little bit. Let's take a look at these pictures that are going to help us to see some animals in different types of habitats. While we're looking at these, we're also going to be thinking about what these animals are doing. And there is a definition of a habitat right in the middle of the screen, which I'll read to you. It says, a habitat is where a plant or animal naturally lives and grows. So there's a couple of important words there, aren't there?
Yes.
So where tells us that it's a place.
Exactly.
And this could apply for a plant or an animal. But in this case, we're going to be focusing on animals. And naturally lives and grows. So that means that if it were in the wild. Now, pets and farm animals, they have habitats also, but we know now that they are in our homes and and on farms. Now, there are a couple more important words there that I'd like to point out. Lives and grows. So that means that they get what they need there. They get their food. They get their water, and they find shelter. Shelter is a place that's going to keep them safe from harm or give them a place where they can sleep. Now, I've also shown a couple of other images. This is an image of a coral reef with fish swimming around, and we have an image of some bison out on a plain. So now we know what a habitat is. Let's explore some different types of habitats. They could be aquatic.
Oh, well, what does aquatic mean?
There's a very important clue in this picture.
Is there?
And in the next picture also. Let's see if this helps.
I am noticing that there were a couple of similarities between the first picture and this picture.
Let's see if this one helps you out.
That definitely helps me narrow it down even further.
So what would you say aquatic is?
Well, the first two pictures, I noticed that both of them had water and they both had some type of grass or leaves. So I was kind of curious to see if those were both, but now seeing this third picture, all three pictures all had water. So that makes me think that aquatic means water.
You're exactly right. And it could be ponds, it could be rivers, it could be streams, it could be oceans. Do you know, I've even seen live animals in a mud puddle.
Really?
I have tadpoles. Very interesting.
Oh.
Now, let's go on to our next type of habitat, grasslands. Now, there's a key word right in there.
Yes.
Grass and land helps us to understand. Big open land with a lot of grass.
Yes.
Different kinds of grass. Let's turn to the next image. That was our buffalo image. Do we have anything like this in Albuquerque?
I think we do.
We do. For those of you who live in Albuquerque, there is a herd of buffalo out at the base of the Sandias.
Oh.
Let's keep going. A different type of grassland. So far we've seen images of aquatic habitats and images of grasslands. Let's keep going. Desert. Do you happen to recognize where this might be from? Don't say it. Not yet. Some of you might recognize this, and we'll talk about why in a second.
I think I do.
Another desert. Oh, that looks awfully familiar, doesn't it? For those of us who live around here. Now, this desert was quite different from the last desert, but they're both deserts, different types of deserts, and now a completely different type of desert. My family and I actually had a chance to visit this desert a few years ago. It's just as beautiful as it looks here. Forest. One type of forest. This is what we would know as a rainforest.
I see.
Let's look at a different type. Oh, this one is called the Redwood Forest. This is in California. Huge trees. They are amazing. You look up and it seems like they're going on forever.
Wow.
And another type of forest. This has aspen trees. Let's keep going. This is the tundra. Now, this makes me think that I would see a couple of polar bears walking across here. A lot of the tundra is in polar regions.
Oh.
Let's keep looking. A few more plants in that one. And now, prepare to be surprised because you're going to see the tundra in the summer.
Really? That almost looks like a grassland.
It does, doesn't it? One of the main differences is that in the tundra, there aren't very many trees.
Oh.
Whereas a grassland can have more trees.
I see. That's an important difference to remember.
It really is, isn't it? Deserts also tend to not have very many trees, and the reason that both deserts and tundras tend to not have many trees is because neither of them actually get much rainfall. Now, I have an important thing for us to think about. In our state of New Mexico, which habitats that I just showed you do we have here? Now, this is a challenge question that I'd like for you all to be thinking about. Do we have tundras? Do we have deserts? Do we have grasslands? I think I kind of gave this one away.
I think you might have too.
Because this was actually taken nearby. Do we have forests? I'm going to give you a hint on this one. This picture was taken up near Taos.
Oh.
And Do we have aquatic habitats? So would you all be thinking about that, please? Because as we come back throughout the week, we'll continue our conversation about habitats and about what types of animals live in those habitats. Now, let's move on. That's our cue. Reminder to think about this. I'm excited about today's story.
Are you?
I am. I'm really excited because today I'm not actually going to read a book.
Okay.
Instead, we're going to do some storytelling. By the way, school librarians love storytelling. I think it's because we love stories so much that we really get into them.
Yes.
Now, for today's story, we need this. This is our coyote. He is one of our main characters. Now, if you would pick it up by that side, I haven't touched it there, right there. And you are going to be feeding our coyote.
Okay. That'll be
Because
fun.
today's story, and there are the things that he's going to eat right there. Today's story is based on the book, There Was a Coyote Who Swallowed a Flea. Now, that book was written by Jennifer Ward and illustrated by Steve Gray. And the publisher, I believe, I just have to double check real quickly, yes, was Rising Moon Books.
Okay.
Now, even though I'm basing my story off of this book, I changed a few things to be more suitable for our New Mexico students. But you're still really going to enjoy it. Now, there's something else I'd like for you to know before we get started, and that is you can make your own puppet. Miss Maggie, would you hold up the paper bag puppet that's over there? Our students can actually make their very own. And I'm going to take just a moment to show you how to do that before we get started with today's storytelling. So if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, you can watch this and then maybe make the puppet.
Yeah.
And then come back and watch it again so that you can do your storytelling with us. Here's how to make the puppet. First of all, if you go to the APS at-home resource pages, the paper that you will, or the pages that you need to make the puppet are on there. So you can download that packet. You'll need something to color with. I used crayons on that, but certainly markers or paints or colored pencils would work. Scissors with adult help, kiddos. Glue, and then some sort of a container. Now you can see this one has a paper bag. That's the type of paper bag that we use at the schools. This is just a paper bag from a grocery store.
Yes.
Which I think worked out really well.
It does.
Also, I brought in a couple of other possibilities. Now, boys and girls, before you just start emptying boxes, would you please check in with your adult? We're looking for empty, clean boxes. We don't want to have you empty something that you shouldn't be emptying. So check with your adult first. But some examples could be a box like this.
I see.
Or, this could be a possibility if it were empty and cleaned out first.
Yes.
So this had disinfecting wipes. I know a lot of us at home have some of these. If an adult made sure that this was empty and then completely cleaned out and then maybe left out to dry, this could work also, or something like this. So think about what you've got at home that might work.
Perfect.
Now, here are the steps to take. First, you'll want to print the pages, then color them, and then cut out the different things. So you'll want to cut out the coyote head and body and tail. And then to make it easier for you to cut out the things that the coyote swallowed, I just put squares around them. If you actually wanted to cut out around the shapes of each object, you could do that. I'm just not that big on cutting because it takes a lot of time. So print, color, and cut, and then glue. Now, would you notice, please, if you could tip one of these forward, the opening is actually at the top. So make sure that when you're gluing, you glue so that the opening is at the top. And the way that I did the one that Miss Maggie, has over there is I first just put a little bit, a round circle or oval of glue on the front part of the bag, and then I glued on that coyote body, and then I put the head just right over it with a strip of glue. Let that dry, and then I added the tail to the back. And really, I did both at the, I did all three of those very, very quickly. It didn't take much time. Then let it dry, and then once it's dry, then you can feed your coyote with the things that she ate just by sticking the objects into the opening. Okay, any questions about that? Did that feel pretty clear?
I think so. I have a good understanding of what to do.
Okay, great. Well, then I think we're ready for some storytelling. There was a coyote who swallowed a flea, plucked from her knee that tickly flea. Yippee-o-ki-yee. Did you feed that flea to the coyote?
I absolutely did.
She might need to say, yum, yum.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a lizard. It slipped and it slithered right down to her gizzard. She swallowed that lizard to catch the flea, plucked from her knee that tickly flea. Yippee-o-ki-yee.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a spider. It tickled inside her, that great big spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the lizard. She swallowed the lizard to catch the flea, plucked from her knee that tickly flea. Yippee-o-ki-yee.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a bird. That's what I heard. She swallowed a bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the lizard. She swallowed the lizard to catch the flea, plucked from her knee that tickly flea. Yippee-o-ki-yee.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a chili. Call her silly to swallow a chili. She swallowed the chili to season the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the lizard. She swallowed the lizard to catch the flea, plucked from her knee that tickly flea. Yippee-o-ki-yee.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a cactus. Takes a lot of practice to swallow a cactus. She swallowed the cactus to go with the chili. She swallowed the chili to season the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the lizard. She swallowed the lizard to catch the flea. Plucked right from her knee. That tickly flea. Yippee-yo-ki-yee.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a hat. A 10-gallon hat in 10 seconds flat. She swallowed the hat right after the cactus. She swallowed the cactus to go with the chili. She swallowed the chili to season the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the lizard. She swallowed the lizard to catch the flea, plucked from her knee that tickly flea. And say it with me. Yippee-yo-ki-yee.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a boot. What a hoot to swallow a boot! She swallowed the boot to stomp the hat. She swallowed the hat right after the cactus. She swallowed the cactus to go with the chili. She swallowed the chili to season the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the lizard. She swallowed the lizard to catch the flea. Plucked from her knee that tickly flea. Yippee-yo-ki-yee.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed a bowl. You'd think she was full after gulping that bowl. She swallowed the bowl to squash the boot. She swallowed the boot to stomp the hat. She swallowed the hat right after the cactus. She swallowed the cactus to go with the chili. She swallowed the chili to season the bird. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the lizard. She swallowed the lizard to catch the flea plucked from her knee. That tickly flea. Yippee-yo-ki.
Yum, yum.
There was a coyote who swallowed the moon. Burp. Is breakfast soon? The end. Now, let's think about this before we go on any farther about story elements.
Okay.
Now, we remember story elements. Story elements, in fact, if I bring up my 5 fingers, story elements tell us about the characters. That's the who of the story. Miss Maggie, who is our main character in this story?
Well, the main character, I think, would be the coyote, because I saw the coyote on every single page of the story.
And she did most of the action, right? All right, now then we move on to the setting, and the setting tells us a time and a place. Do we know the time of this?
Not really. The time did not seem as important
But
to
we
the
could
story.
probably look at the pictures, and we know, for example, that this one would have to be at night, but it seems like maybe the others could have been really any time.
Exactly.
How about the place? What place would we guess?
Well, because of what animals were in the story, I would think a desert.
I would agree with you. Now let's move on to the plot.
Okay.
The plot tells us the beginning, the middle, and the ending of a story. It's the things that happened. And plot is actually today's focus for the understanding piece of our story.
Okay.
When we talk about plot or the things that happened, we have to make sure that we put those things in order. What do I mean by in order?
Well, whatever happened first in the story needs to be retold first, continued with the next part, and the next part, and the next part.
Right. Now, usually when we're telling a story, we talk about beginning, middle, and ending. This had a lot of parts to it.
Yes.
And when we're retelling, we would need to put those parts in order or in sequence.
Absolutely.
Now, we talked about why that's important. If things were out of order, it gets a little bit confusing.
Yes, it does.
Let's take it away from the story for a minute and think about this. Let's say that you were talking about your day at the end of the day, maybe at the dinner table. Well, you would begin, if you were putting them in sequence or in order, with what you did in the morning, and then maybe some of the things that you did in the afternoon, and then maybe what you did at the end of your day.
Yes.
Or if you're telling a different story about something that happened and you put things out of order, it could be very confusing for the person who's listening.
Yes, it could.
So that's why we put stories in order also when we're retelling stories.
Absolutely.
Now let's think about the order of this. What sort of order or sequence did the author put these events in?
Well, let's see. It was all about a coyote who swallowed different animals or items. And the first thing she swallowed was a flea. She swallowed that flea, and that was the beginning of the story. Then after that, she needed something to get that flea that she had eaten. So she swallowed a lizard.
I wonder if lizards really do eat fleas.
They might. That would be a good question that we could create as efficient readers that we could look up later on.
Sure.
because not everybody knows everything. We are constantly learning and growing every day. Well, then, if I got this right, she swallowed the spider.
That's right.
To get the lizard. Then the bird to catch the spider. The chili for the bird to season it.
And if we were to actually eat a roadrunner, which I don't think that we would actually do, especially because it's our state bird.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't do that. I wonder if chili would be a good seasoning. Not something I'm going to find out.
No. Then she swallowed a cactus to go with the chili. The hat.
And she doesn't really say why she swallowed the hat, right?
No, it just that it came after the cactus.
Okay.
Which helps me with my sequencing. When we say the word after, it tells me that it comes after other events in the story.
Okay.
The boot to stomp on the hat. The bull to squash the boot. And then the moon.
And then she wanted breakfast. So I guess that was the end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you put those events in sequence to help us to understand how the story went and to help us to make sense of the story.
Yes.
Now, we'll keep coming back to this idea of putting events into sequence when we're retelling the plot of a story. But for now, we're about ready to move on to the next part of our lesson as soon as I can find the pen to turn the page. I found it.
Oh, good. Good looking out.
So we're going to move into wordplay now. And with wordplay, we will continue to use our coyote puppet. Now, Miss Maggie, you'll be using these cards that are over here. And
Okay.
I don't want to touch them right now.
That's
so
okay.
I'll step back. You can pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I will explain how we're going to do this. With today's activity, we're going to work on phoneme blending. Now, I've heard you use that word phoneme
Yes.
before. And what does that remind us?
They are the individual sounds in a word. So letters or letter combinations have single sounds, and those single sounds are phonemes.
Okay, now, here's how we'll do this today. We're going to blend or put together phonemes. Now, boys and girls at home, I want you to play along with us. You can do this very simply. As I give a word, I'm not going to give you the word put together. I'm going to give you a word that's broken up into phonemes or into their own parts. And your job is to blend them and then check to see how you did with Miss Maggie. She will feed the coyote that object that we're naming.
Yes.
Should we try it with the first one?
I think so.
Okay. Are you ready? All right, get yourself settled. Say, at. Okay, now let's do it one more time. And you can tap along with us. Now, Miss Maggie, I know some students like to tap with their hands.
Yes.
We're showing tapping on arms just so that they can see it a little bit better. Do you know, I've also have students in my classrooms who tap on their legs.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they could do at. So you choose a way that works best for you. You could even tap the table in front of you. So let's try it one more time. Ready? At. Now, let's put that together. At. And now, hat. What did you come up with?
Hat.
Let's feed the coyote. And let's move on and do some more. Ready? Say, k. Again, k. And now together, rock. And it's
rock.
Great job. Is that what you came up with? Let's keep going.
Okay.
Tapping arms. Say b, d. Let's do it again.
Okay.
B, d. Bird. I bet you heard it already. Bird.
Bird.
Great job. Ready for the next one? Now with this one, I'm going to tap it, but I'm going to let them do their own blending.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. B, l. B, l. How'd you do with that one? It's a little bit tricky with that sound. Bell. Bull. Sometimes those middle sounds, you kind of have to change just a little bit until it makes sense. Did you get that word yet? Let's see.
Bull.
Awesome. Let's do the next one. Ready to tap it? Ooh, That one was a lot clearer with that middle vowel sound. We didn't have to quite tweak it as much, but let's try it again. Ooh, Did you find it in your head? Pull it out. What is it?
Moon.
Great job. Here's another. B, oo, t. B, oo, t. What is it?
Boot.
Now, we're going to move on to one with a new letter sound combination. We're not worried about letters yet,
Exactly.
but I want you to be thinking about this as you hear this. A, n. A, n. Did you get it?
Rain.
And, you know, rain is something that in the desert, we really like to see because we need it.
Yes, definitely.
Now, I would like to just put in a little special message for your adults here. So if you have an adult at home who's helping you with your reading and writing, bring them over just so I can talk to them for just a moment. As we do these types of activities, it's really important that we stick with single syllable words. So words that have one beat. And the reason for that is that if we were try to blend and segment words with a lot of beats or a lot of syllables, it could be really confusing for our students. Now, for those students who have maybe moved beyond this, that would be a good challenge to first break a word into syllables and then break the word into phonemes. We'll talk more about breaking apart words in our next phonics lesson or phonological awareness lesson, which is going to be on Wednesday. For now, let's move on, and we're going to do our letter and sound keyword cards. But I also want to tell you we're adding some more in today.
Ooh.
So be prepared. Are you ready? Stand up. Let's do it. O, octopus, ah. Do you see what I did here? I didn't have them all divided up. This time we're going to have our long and short vowel sounds together. So, O, home, O. I, itch, I. I, pine, I. E, ed, e. E, peat, e. U, up, Whoop, I went a little too fast. The first one was you, mule, you. And this one is you rule oo. A apple A safe A. B bat B. Did you notice how I clipped off putting in any sort of an
And that's very important to remember with our consonants.
I wouldn't say B bat B. We got to clip that sound off. Just keep it that little single push of air. P pan P. C cat K kike. Did you notice that those both have the same sound? G game G. V then V. F fun. Now let's move on to a couple of digraphs. TH thumb. Did you notice how close those sounds are? And if you weren't looking at my mouth, that could be really tricky to hear the difference.
Exactly.
SH, ship, sh. Now, listen to this one again. A, safe, A. With phonics, we know that A could be A consonant E. It can also be what we call a vowel team, or two vowels that go together to say one sound. So instead of saying a for this, we would just say one sound, A, like bait, like this worm on the hook is bait if you were going fishing. So we would say A-I, bait, A. Will you say that with me? A-I, bait, A. Got it? Okay. Now let's take a look at this one. A-Y also says A. So this is A-Y, play, A. Say it with me. A-Y, play, A. Now, we'll talk more about how we use those letters in words when we do our phonics cards. And that's up next. But we have to take a quick break, because if you've watched our other episodes, you know that we need to bring our chart up on the table. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Now we are going to continue our work with letters and sounds by decoding words. So what we'll be doing is we will be putting letters up together as a word and then decoding them sound by sound to create the actual word and read it. So what we will do is we will put out each of the letters, then we will tap out the letters with our arms or our legs or our fingers, whatever you are using at home to tap out the sound. And then we're going to blend the sounds together to create the words. So let's go ahead and start off with a couple of easy practice ones. So will you please, Miss Mary, will you please put up the letters P-O-T?
Okay, so P, O,
Yes.
and T.
Perfect.
Okay. This feels a little bit like what we just did, because now we're going to tap it, right?
Exactly.
We're going to tap the sounds
Yes.
that they make. Okay, I think I've got it. Ready? P, T. And now we
blend.
okay. Pot. And the word is pot.
Perfect.
Okay, great. I think I've got it. Now, we'll spell this away.
Perfect.
P-O-T, pot.
Excellent. Let's try the next one. Will you please put up the letters P, A, N, S?
Now for this one, I'm going to use a special S. I am going to use a suffix S. And for that, it will be a blue card. Let's talk about the colors of the cards for just a moment.
Absolutely.
You will notice that we have now 3 different colors of cards. The consonants are this sort of light yellow. The vowels are this pink color. And then I've added 2 suffix ending cards. They're both in blue. We have a suffix S and a suffix ED. Let's talk about suffixes. Before we move on to this word, let's just have a little bit of a conversation. We add suffix endings to words to slightly change what the word means. So if I were adding it to this word, which I just did, I'm going to slightly change the meaning of this word to mean more than one thing.
Yes.
Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Do you know our English language just doesn't play fair? It's so confusing. Sometimes when we add a suffix S ending, it still changes the words. But when we add it to a verb, it doesn't mean more than one.
No.
It still changes how many. So, for example, if I were to add a suffix S to the word run, to make it runs, it would mean that one person runs. Without the suffix, it would be run, more than one person. So, she and I run.
Yes.
A little bit confusing. Don't worry too much about it. For right now, kind of go with what sounds right, and we'll keep going on with rules.
Yes.
Okay, now, let's get back to this and to tapping this. Are you ready? I'm going to do this a little bit differently. So watch me first. I'm going to pretend, in fact, I'll just flip it over, like my suffix S card isn't even there.
Okay.
First, I'm going to tap out what we call the base word. That's the word without the suffix. Are you ready? P, a, n. And now let's blend it. Pan. And the word is pan. Pans. So I'll get the word by itself, and then I will add in that suffix. So my word is pan, pans.
Great.
Now, if I were actually reading that in a sentence, I wouldn't separate out that word for fluent reading. I would just go ahead and read the whole thing. But we're not reading fluently right now. We're reading for decoding or for just being able to sound out the words.
Yes.
All right, I'll spell it away. P, A, N, suffix S. Okay, I bet they're ready to move on.
I think so. Let's try the next one.
Okay.
Will you please put up the letters P, A, C, K?
Oh. Digraph. Tap it. P, A, K. Blend it. Pack. And the word is pack.
That's right.
P, A, C, K.
Excellent. Let's try another. Will you please put up the letters WH, I consonant E, and the consonant is T.
I know what's coming up here. Okay, so that I consonant E tells me something important. It tells me that the I is going to say its name. Do you remember that rule? Let's tap it. I, t. Did you notice I didn't say anything at the end? Okay, let's try it again. I, t. And now blend it. White. And the word is
White.
perfect. Spell it away. WH I-T-E. All right, what's next?
Let's do this word. Will you please put up the letters P-L-A-N?
Okay. P. I bet you're already starting to tap these in your head. L-A-N. And now let's tap it. P-O-A-N. Plan. What was it? Plan. Miss Maggie, what would happen if I added an E to the end?
Well, it would make a consonant E, so then it would say P-O-A-N. Plain, the word is plain.
It's funny what one little sound can do.
Right?
All right,
Let's try some of our words with the new sound spelling.
got it.
Let's try this one. Will you please put up the letters R-A-I-N?
Okay, so R, and my A-I is right here. R-A-I-N. Okay.
Let's tap that out.
R-A-N. Rain. Rain.
Perfect.
Okay, so that A-I, I notice that that A-I is in the middle.
Yes.
Now that's one thing to know about when we're working with AI and AY. They go in different parts of the word.
Yes.
AI has to be followed by a consonant. AY goes at the end.
Oh,
So we'll keep working on this one, but first, let's spell this away.
okay.
No, one thing. What if I wanted to make it rains? Like,
Would
It-
we have to add the S?
we would add in the suffix S card, and now it rains. Okay, great. So suffix S, now spell it away, R-A-I-N. Okay, what's next?
Perfect. Let's do one more word.
Alrighty.
Let's spell out this word P-L-A-Y.
Okay, P, L, and then there's that ending, A-Y,
Let's tap it out.
L, A.
Mm-hmm.
Play. Play.
Perfect.
Now, I've got one more suffix ending that I'm going to stick up there.
Yes.
And it's going to make play into played.
Perfect.
So now we go from play, like I play right now, to played. I played in the past.
Oh, I see.
It's something I already did. Okay.
That makes sense.
Now, we've added in suffix S, suffix ED, and AI and AY.
Okay.
Is there anything else, or can I spell these away?
I think you can spell those away.
Okay. Boy, this is a big day. A lot going on. All right. I think we're ready to move on
Absolutely.
to fluency.
Yes.
I'll move this out of the way.
Excellent. We're going to be once again working with some fluency to practice reading words automatically without having to tap them out. We'll start with some words and we'll do some sentences as well.
Now, this first row of words has mostly things that we've been working on, at least for the last week or so.
Yes.
Why don't you read with our students and I'll point?
Absolutely.
All right, are we ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Tan, rat, ran, rate, rant.
I used a lot of the same letters in here, but I moved them around. And with some of them, for example, from rat to rate, I just added on that E.
And it definitely changes the meaning.
It does. Let's keep going. Ready?
Pal, plan, plant, plane,
Pay attention.
plane, play. Oh, I see what you did, Miss Mary.
Plain and plane sound exactly the same.
But they have two different meanings.
Let's keep going.
Lap, nap, pan, pain, pain, paint.
I did it again.
Yes, you did.
This is a little bit more challenging, so get ready. Don't get frustrated. You can do this.
Tray, trains, play, plane, paint, painting.
Let's keep going.
Perfect.
Now, with this one, we're going to read our sentences with fluency, which means that we're going to work on putting groups of words together in a way that makes sense and reading it in a way that has some expression.
Absolutely. A tan rat ran to the train.
Okay, I've got a picture in my mind of a tan rat running to the train. Let's move on.
The rat sat in a pan of paint.
Do you see that in your head?
That was not the plan, said the rat.
I see him looking very disgusted. Now, one more thing before we wrap it up for today, and I wanted to talk for just a minute about reading at an appropriate rate, which means not too slow, not too fast, but just right. Now, why is that important, Miss Maggie?
Well, it's important because if we go too slow or if we go too fast, it can be hard to understand what we're reading. We want to be able to read at a conversational rate that almost sounds like we're talking. If we go way too fast, it definitely doesn't sound like natural conversation. And if we go too slow, that also does not sound like natural conversation.
So let's try one, going back to our story from the morning, in which I read it too slowly.
Okay.
Let's see what happens with this. There was a coyote.
Let me stop you, Miss Mary, for just a second. That was really hard for me to follow because I kept waiting for the next word.
Okay, well, try it this way.
Okay.
There was a coyote who swallowed a flea plucked from underneath that tickly knee.
Oh, that was so fast. I didn't have time to process everything that you were saying.
I'll try it just right.
Thank you.
There was a coyote who swallowed a flea, plucked from her knee that tickly flea. Yippee-yo-ki.
That was much better. I could understand the words that you were reading, and it gave me a chance to think about what was being said.
I think we're ready to wrap it up.
I think so too. We did so many wonderful things today. We read through a wonderful story. We got to practice reading our words and feeding our coyote different words while blending phonemes. And we also got to practice reading with an appropriate rate for words and sentences. Remember to check out this video again on the APS YouTube channel if you happen to miss this episode. We're going to keep working on our unit of animals in New Mexico throughout this entire week, and we're super excited to continue this work with you tomorrow. This has been Miss Maggie
And Miss Mary.
and we want to thank you again for joining us today for At Home with APS, the Summer Edition. Have a great day.
Bye.